guys. I'm just on my way to visit. It's about 60 kilometers away in south of Auckland, in a place called Raglan. So Raglan is a nice quaint town south of Auckland, and I think is it south or west of Hamilton. I have to pass through Hamilton first before I get to Raglan. Hamilton is another fifth largest city in New Zealand. Population is about 144, and I'm using the back road, or the GPS routed me through the back roads because the main highway, State Highway 1, has congestion. So just following the GPS here. I've never driven on this route before, so it's going to be interesting to discover with you how this route looks like. But yeah, just going to site. Another day in my job, in this construction design and construction industry. See what's up. So for now, just enjoy the scenery as we head on. I've got about 37 kilometers of driving before I get onto, the GPS is telling me before I get onto Highway 22, and then hopefully get into the main state highway. But it's another just warm day today, being a Friday, so the weekend is here. It's quite a warm and sunny day, warm and bright day. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So I think I'm in Port Waikato, this place here. I'm not sure. I think it's Port Waikato. Like I said, I haven't driven on this route before. These are back routes off of the main state highway, but just because you're trying to avoid congestion on the state highway. Yeah, so this place is all just farmland. If you can see, it's all just farmland, rural farmland. You know, bushes, trees, etc. It's been an interesting week, quite a busy week. Tell me down below how your week has been, guys. And this route is also very curvy. New Zealand roads are quite curvy. You know, you're always turning corners and curves, and either going up a hill or down a valley. It's very interesting driving here. You gotta be very keen on the road. You gotta be very alert and concentrate when you're driving on New Zealand roads, because they're not as straight as the roads in the States. Because in the States it's a bit flat, and the roads are wide, so you can just do maybe cruise control and then you are off. In New Zealand it's rare, especially when you're using back roads like this. There are curves, there are turns, and you just have to be 100% alert. In the States or Australia, the geography is quite flat land, so the highways or the roads are quite straight and wide. So, you know, but in New Zealand, if you are new, you gotta be careful, man. You gotta be careful when driving on these back routes. So we'll just keep going. Pukekohe. So say Pukekohe Play Center is what we are passing at the moment. Yeah, I'm quite excited to see what else I discover. The beauty about driving in back roads, you discover little little gems, little hidden gems on this routes that you will never have known unless you came out this way. So I think here, this area around here is Pukekawa. Kura means cool. So the names in Samoa in this country are in Maori, which is the local indigenous people, the owners of the original owners of the land, and also in English. So things like Kura means cool in Maori. You gotta go at 65, and yeah, so not whole lot of traffic at this time of day on this back route. So most likely the GPS calculates and tells you, okay, this is your fastest route, as opposed to being on the highway. You know, sometimes I wish when I'm driving I could play some good country music. Oh, that's on a Faro golf club. One thing about golf clubs here, man, there are quite a number of golf clubs and golf clubs, not golf clubs, golf clubs out in New Zealand. And the thing is that they are quite affordable. Like anyone can just go and pay and you play golf. Like in Kenya, man, golf is like an elite sport. Unless you have money, you gotta you can't play golf, which is something I find weird, because you know, golf is just a game like any other game. You know, if you want to play it, you should be able to play it. But in Kenya, it's very interesting. Unless you are really, really rich. They say in Kenya, golf is for the rich people. So only rich people can afford to play golf. Here in New Zealand, you find there are many golf clubs, and anyone who wants to play golf, rich or poor or whatever, it's actually accessible. You just, as long as you have interest, you play. And so is most sports, really. If you are interested in New Zealand, you know, if you're interested in any sports, there are clubs that, you know, you can join a club. You know, of course, you pay some membership fees or registration fees or something like that. But basically, you know, it's affordable. It is affordable. So I always found that, you know, having come from Kenya, born and bred in Kenya, and then coming over here, and then I found out that you can actually, just play golf like any other sport. You know, you can go pro if you want, or you can just play like, you know, a regular player, amateur or whatever. And it's that affordable. I was like, wow, you know. But I've played once. I've played golf a couple of times, but I normally don't find it that stimulating or interesting as much as the other sports. I'm more of an athlete, runner. I prefer running and playing soccer. Maybe when I get too old and stuff, I might consider playing golf. Yeah, so that's sort of the difference I noted between playing, you know, sports here like golf and sports and golf in Kenya. You know, membership fee in Kenya, even in Kenya, you can't be allowed. If you're just like an ordinary person, you can't be allowed near a golf club. You know, like you won't even be let in through the gates of the club, let alone, you know, saying that, let alone playing. You know, just getting into the club at the gate, you know, you'll be turned away. Yeah. But yeah, you can rock up to any golf club, and you don't even need to own clubs. You know, you don't need to own playing clubs. You can go to the club and then rent out some playing clubs, and then you go onto the range and or onto the golf field, and start playing. What I've noticed as well, here they also play. You can play golf with a soccer ball. You know, so you've got a soccer ball, and instead of shooting with a club, you guys, if you're a group or whatever, you shoot with your foot onto the greens or whatever. So it's a very exciting way to spend time sometimes, I think, with friends and folk. Yeah, guys, look at this. Look at that landscape. You know, the beauty about using back roads is the landscape. You know, you get to experience some very beautiful nature around here. So it's really cool when you're driving. Sometimes when you're driving using the back roads, you know, and I absolutely have no idea where I am except where the GPS is taking me. But I tell you what, I am enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the views. I hope you are too, wherever you will be watching this video from, or wherever you're watching. Just come along, guys, and give me company. I've noticed that when I'm doing these long trips for site visits and stuff, to keep myself awake, I have to talk. So I started making this kind of content just so that I can keep alert and keep awake. Normally, if you have like a partner or a co-driver or whatever, you guys talk in the car, and that keeps you awake and keeps you alert. But you know, now that I'm alone, I decided that I'll be making this kind of content, you know, short road trips, pointing out landscapes and anecdotes of history and knowledge here and there, so that I can keep myself awake and alert, because you know, it's important. And also, you know, share some bits and pieces about this country, New Zealand, you see. Otuiti Road, Opuatia. Oh, so the only way I'm knowing these places is that I'm reading signs. So I think this place is called Opuatia. So for my international audience, Opuatia is a Maori name. So a lot of places here, as you would imagine, they'll be named in the local Maori language. You know. And the Maori are the indigenous people of this land. It's called Aotearoa, the land of the long white cloud, New Zealand. It's a beautiful country. If you guys know, New Zealand is where the famous films Lord of the Rings was shot, as well as The Hobbit. The Hobbit movie is actually one of my favorite movies, and where it was shot, I'm planning to do some serious content about the Hobbit movie. I'm gonna take you guys on a road trip to the location where the Hobbit movie was shot. It's not far from where I live or where I stay. So it will be exciting for you guys to see that. So stick to this channel, subscribe, because that sort of content is also coming your way. Normally I shoot that content when I'm not working or when I'm taking a break. I'm finding that content creation is actually a nice pastime for me. So hey, why not do it? And as I'm driving like this, I'm keeping awake. I'm showing you guys the scenery, We recently got a GoPro 12, which is supposed to be a very powerful shooting video machine. And yeah, so come along on this journey as I take you to one of my other sites, and as we enjoy the scenery. You know, like I said, it's just another day, another working day in my life. Yeah. So where was I? What was I talking about? What was I talking about, guys? Yeah, the Hobbit movie. So it was shot in a place called Matamata here in New Zealand. Matamata is again south of Auckland, and it's a great place. It's a great place. They've got those the movie set over there, which I will I'll go ahead and show you in the coming days or weeks, whenever I get time. Other content I'm planning to bring to you guys is I'll go downtown Auckland and just talk about how it is designed, some of the urban design features of downtown Auckland. I'm particularly interested in there's a place I want to show you is the waterfront. I think the waterfront, for those interested in some good waterfront design, waterfront urban design, how to treat urban spaces. To me, the waterfront sticks out as one of the best designed waterfronts in Auckland. I remember working on that project when I was in my early days in New Zealand. I worked at that waterfront urban precinct, and it was, yeah. And don't ask me working as how. Actually, I wasn't working there, working on it as a designer. I was actually one of the laborers. You know, I was doing some construction work there on that waterfront project. But with hindsight, I realized that was actually a very, very good experience, because I got first-hand experience how construction in New Zealand works, and a good understanding of how that construction works, which was very, very different from how we were constructed in Kenya, where I did my first degree in architecture and then practiced. So when I came to New Zealand, of course, I made a deliberate decision to go and work on construction sites, to start understanding how it is done here in this country. And with hindsight, that decision has paid off immensely, because as I run my own practice, well, design, I know how to design. Anyone, you know, interested in design, if you've gone through architecture schools, you will know how to design spaces. That's not a biggie. The issue normally comes to, you know, detailing whatever you've designed and knowing how it's going to be constructed. So if you go to a foreign country, if you relocate to a foreign country, whether you're going for overseas experience or anything else, you know, or just relocating for work, I always advise, you know, take time, work on their construction site, see how they put things together, see how the construction elements come together, what's the banter, what's the culture, you know. That will go a long way in helping you when you start designing your own. Will go a long way in helping you to understand your own designs and how you put them together. Yeah, this is a very curvy area, guys. Very, very curvy road, winding and unwinding. So I gotta go slow. Yeah. So that viaduct project, the waterfront, the Auckland waterfront. The place is called a viaduct. It's a very lovely piece of urban design, and I intend to go down there and do a vlog as I walk you through how it was made, and how it was done, and how it's functioning as a public place, as a public space. It's a very busy place, throughout the week, whether it's raining or whether it's sunny. In summer like now, it will be really busy. They've got all sorts of spaces that provide for different sorts of activities, especially for all age groups, really, not just young people or elderly or kids. It's an urban space that has catered for a lot of that caters for all age groups, families, elderly, young people, kids. You can always find something to do on the viaduct, and I quite like that place. Sometimes when I'm just taking a break, when I feel like going to the city, I just take a train and I head down the viaduct. Yeah, so I'll also take you through a train journey from Pukekohe, which is the last stop south on the southern route. So Pukekohe is the last stop on the southern route, and it takes about an hour 30 minutes for the train to get from its last stop in Pukekohe back to the Bridomat Central train station. So there's lots of content coming your way, guys, and stick with me, stick on this channel, hit the notification button, because every time I'll be posting, then you can get access to this content. Yeah, so about 11 kilometers to Highway 22. The funny thing is that if you see the sign that we passed there, it says 100 kilometers per hour, and I'm wondering, how the hell am I going to go 100 kilometers per hour on this windy and curvy road? But as they say, exercise caution and fair judgment. So we are turning left here to we're higher Highway 22 now. This is Highway 22 southbound. Yeah, I hope, guys, you are enjoying this, some of you as I am. It's very nice. This is New Zealand for you guys. Very beautiful country down under in the Pacific region. Very beautiful. Yeah, so I think I'm a fair bit of minutes away from my destination, so we still got more talking to do, more stuff to talk about, really. And I gotta go around here. It is windy, guys. So for tourists, if you're planning to tour New Zealand, and normally they're off-beaten tracks like this one, you can see what I'm going through, guys. You gotta curves and winds, downhill and uphill. Oh man, it is interesting, so you gotta be careful, especially tourists who come from the States. Your roads from the States are quite straight and wide, so you can just even put auto driver, and then if you have like a Tesla, you put it on auto driver, and then all you have to do is touch the steering wheel from time to time, and the car will drive itself, because it's a long straight road. Here ain't none like that. Nothing like that. You've got eyes on the road, focus 24/7, all the time. You know, all the time. You see, you got about like 100 meters of a stretch of the road, and then you got a curve. You know, every time that's what is happening. Unless like you're on the state highway. But even the state highway, guys, it's also very curvy and windy. So, but this is New Zealand for you. Beautiful, ruggedy, and all that good stuff. You know, hills, all that good stuff. And I'm in the middle of a forest or something. So I gotta go at 50 kilometers an hour. Yeah, guys, comment down below what sort of content you want me to keep posting for you. Like I said, I'm just discovering that I can do this. So if there are errors and omissions, apologies in advance. Which reminds me, guys, that when I was in high school, my literature teacher, shout out to you, Mr. Chilonga, when we were leaving Form 4 and considering careers in future, he was like, Andrew, you need to consider a career in journalism, you know. And I suppose I never thought about journalism, but I think it stemmed from the fact that I used to write some very good compositions and stories. And at one time I participated in a public speaking event, and I think I acquitted myself very well. But as fate may have it, I never really took up journalism as a career. I ended up in architecture and construction. But they say never. I think those skills now, those inherent skills that my literature teacher saw in me back then in the day, I am thinking maybe I should be channeling those ones as I try to create this content. Yeah. So, guys, you can judge me on that. Mr. Chilonga, shout out to you. You can judge this video and this content as I monologue on these routes and trying to keep awake. Although never mind, with these curves and winds, you will definitely keep awake. And no room to even close your eyes. So this here is New Zealand, guys. 55 kilometers here per hour that you have to drive to. Man, I'll be glad when we hit the main state highway, because I am getting tired of turning and twisting in my seat, driving like this, you know. By the time, I always say in New Zealand, if you're driving for more than an hour every day, going to work and back, by the end of the week, you're not just exhausted from work, but you'll definitely be exhausted from driving, because it's never a straight line. You know, I was in the States, and in the States you knew, you know, it's a straight line from point A to point B. Very little curves and corners. And always flat. Always flat. But I imagine in the States, you know, they made those roads flat because they say, the story has it, you know, subject to confirmation, disclaimer, I don't know whether this is true, is that the reason the road infrastructure in the United States is that advanced and that good, wide roads, etc., is so that the planes can also land. That during World War II, I suppose, the then President